Good evening. Welcome to Presidential Debate Part 2, the two-part series. Last week we had an exciting social debate. This evening we're bringing the leadership debate at election day on Wednesday. Wherever in the world you are, we don't want to do it. Don't wait. I'm Joel Lee. I am Bobby Francis. We'll be right back. Thank you for remaining with us. This is the presidential debate. We have Keep Your Castle Great, Dante P. Minto. And we have Valiantly Competent Yorkists, is new advocacy. Leon Richards, you thought you heard the last of those slogans? No, you have not, because they take it to the polls on Wednesday. This evening is a leadership debate down to the meat of the matter. We're going to get down into why people should vote Leon Richards, why they should vote Dante Minto. We are your hosts here this evening, Bobby Francis and Jolie. And what's going to happen this evening is that we have 4 sections. We will have the opening remarks for 2 minutes, then we will have the question and answer session. Then we will have that opportunity for candidates to engage one another in primitive questions. And then we will close with closing remarks. We're going to get right into it, not a time to waste. Leon Richards, opening remarks.
Hello everyone. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with you all. And I must say, today was wonderful because I woke up and an interesting quote came across and it says, opportunities that come once in a lifetime are hard to get. So go out and chase it. And with that in mind, I saw this with my manifesto that I'm bringing towards students as a one-time opportunity where students should go out and get it, until the time goes and pass. So students vote Leon Richards as the president of the Student Council. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richards. One very short and tech is hearing Joel Lee very clearly. Awesome. Going to go into Dante Minto, your opening remarks.
Greetings, students of York Castle. For those who don't know, I'm Dante Minto and I'm running for president. Don't place your bet on a lottery ticket, I will tell you, because vote assured leadership, vote proven leadership. Don't take the one-time chance. Vote someone who is here for you all the time and will always be here for you, win or no lose. So on Wednesday, vote Dante Minto for your next council president.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minto. Mr. Richards, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fine.
Excellent. I hope you're ready for this evening's debates. And Mr. Minto, how exactly are you feeling, sir?
I'm doing fine. I'm here,
All right, we're both doing fine. I guess nobody is overexcited. Let's move straight into our second segment where we will be interrogating you and the viewers would like to hear what you really have to say about our questions. Bobby? Thank you, Joel. Mr. Minto, I start with you. I see your manifesto you're talking about extracurricular activities, I don't know what you call it, management program. Are you sure you're pumping the right thing? Is it that extracurriculars need to be pumped? Is it time? Talk to us.
Right, yeah, I believe that some of our extracurriculars here at York Castle, it's not that they are being led by bad leaders, it's just that they're operating blindly. So under my management program, I will help each and every one of these clubs, like giving them goals, giving them guidelines, assigning tasks to them to ensure that they are involved and that they're actually going somewhere and they are moving towards something that will, in the end, result in the development and the betterment of the staff of a specific club's members, of the members of a specific club.
Thank you so much, Mr. Minto. Mr. Richards, we see blockchain technology, we see cloud, we see this, we see that. What really differentiates your manifesto from the action plan of a regular club?
Differentiate my plan from what?
From the regular action plan of a club. Why is it that you need to be students, council president to spread what many could call a club agenda across the school?
Well, it's just that I want students to understand that I want to be here for them, right? Becoming the president, I plan to put in a system that helps students, right? And I want to show students I am able to help them and be here for them to let them do what is right, and I want to show students a better way of doing things. But as a president, I have a good mindset where I try to achieve and smash goals, right? And having a president like that will motivate and push students, right, in the correct way. So by doing that, by becoming the president, I'm going to help fulfill that.
It sounds more motivational and practical. You don't think you could actually get that done while just being a club president rather than president of the entire students' council?
Well, it's not a matter of trying to become a club member, It's just me going out of my comfort zone, to achieve more and help students give back.
And you could go out of your comfort zone as president of a club.
What did you say?
And you could escape your comfort zone as president of a club. What I'm really asking you, Mr. Richards, is what is supplementary to your manifesto outside of financial intelligence? That is really the question I'm asking you here this afternoon.
All right. So I'm going to be in a system to help to be able to thrive during a pandemic, and especially during the current pandemic crisis, where I'm bringing in systems, and like I mentioned, blockchain as well. That involves network having operation where we can transfer things using the internet just by having internet connection, and that will allow us to thrive prosperously during the pandemic if I implement this blockchain technology. So
Thank you. That's thank you. Mr. Minto, we want to know this, sir. What exactly is your negotiating philosophy?
Well, entering negotiation situations. Repeat.
Your negotiating philosophy in leadership.
Collaborative, always collaborative. Trying to aim for a collaborative result and a result that is mutually beneficial to both parties. But on the council, I will be negotiating to ensure that the students are put first and that no one else benefits more than the students.
You know, it sounds a bit idealistic to me, Mr. Minto, because the truth is there's always this battle between idealism and realism. We want to be optimistic, we can get optimistic, we want to lose weight, but we don't want to do the practical steps to lose weight. Is it that, what is your plan if it is the case where persons are not collaborating with you? You're the only person who wants to be collaborative. What's your end game then?
Well, in that case, if the students aren't benefiting, we'll have to withdraw. We'll have to, kind of have the students understand what is happening, and then maybe our administration will.
So you give up?
No, not give up. Try a different method. We'll have to try a different method.
Or what would that different method look like? Because if it's not being collaborative, what is it going to go on the defense?
Or maybe attack. It depends on the situation. It depends on the situation. But I believe our administration is one that works for the students, so I don't think that will ever be the case.
Thank you, Mr. Minto. Mr. Richards, what exactly do you do in this situation?
Could you repeat that question?
What exactly would you do in this situation, given persons do not want to collaborate?
If persons, could you repeat the last part?
If persons aren't collaborative.
Or if persons are collaborative?
All right, let me go again. Can you hear me? If persons aren't collaborative.
Could you repeat the question, please? Because
no, you was asked his negotiation philosophy when it comes on to leadership, and he says it's a collaborative one. Is collaboration your negotiation philosophy? And if it is, how do you respond to a situation when persons aren't as collaborative as you are?
Okay, in that case, if persons don't want to collaborate, then it's best to find solutions best suited for everyone, where everyone can make their terms and see if we all can agree and find a best possible solution towards working and coming to correct conclusions and decisive conclusions. So
anything, Mr. Richards, to what those best possible solutions would be?
What is best possible?
Yes.
What is best possible? Well, my solution to come to find out what the other party wants, right? To understand and find out what the other party wants, and while you understanding them, you come up with your conclusion and see if you guys can come to terms and make an agreement. So that approach would be better.
Thank you. And besides, Mr. Richards, the cryptocurrency that you plan to implement if you were supposed to become president, the viewers want to be reminded what exactly different are you bringing to the table?
Also, well, I was planning on allowing a YC shuttle system to allow students to be able to, instead of taking these exposed taxis, coming up to the school, and especially hearing about the recent raping, murdering of young girls, right?
So you plan to compete with our private bus system?
Well, no. The thing is, I plan to for the local students in Brownstown, right? I would want to implement a YC shuttle bus system to carry students from in the town up towards the school in the mornings, and if they choose to go on it in the evening, then it is optional for them to go on in the evening. And also, I am going to be improving the lunch system as well with the blockchain.
Before we put on lunch, Mr. Richards, because you're giving us quite a lot to feed on right here. Give me a little bit about the logistics of a YC shuttle system. How is it going to operate? Is it that you're going to have your own bus, your own car, your own minivan? How are you going to finance it? Forex, voluntary financial intelligence. Talk to us about that.
You want to hear about financial intelligence?
Is that a part of your manifesto, or was it just a quick response to Mr. Lin's question?
Well, I just didn't put it in my recent manifesto, I told you guys this was just a sneak peek. I wasn't releasing my full manifesto as
Fair
yet.
enough. But tell us about the logistics now of the YC shuttle system. I would love that. Talk to us.
All right. Well, the first let me talk about the road the route that it would take. It would be from in the bus park, right? And from the bus park, it would just drop the local Brownstown students, from in the school, from at the bus park towards at the school, right? So for the local students, right, instead of taking the taxis that are normally there, we
When you say local, you mean Brownstown students.
yes, exactly.
So instead of taking taxis from Brownstown to Newcastle, you're going to provide a shuttle service.
Yes.
Okay, but
And
what about
you
the
mentioned
students
about financing.
from St. Mary and Trelawney and get to Brownstown? Can they participate with that shuttle system?
Well, that would have already been provided due to the private bus system you mentioned earlier. But I was just trying to help the local students in Brownstown, to get a type of sophisticated bus service as well, just like the other private students who want.
And what's going to pay for that?
Well, who's going to pay for it?
Who would pay for it?
You said who is going to pay for it?
Yeah.
Well, there are assets that I am able to use,
So your money going to pay for it?
I didn't say I'm going to pay for it. I said I have access to assets that I can use.
But we have to ensure the assets are legal. What if it is shopping money and you're not thinking about scamming, or is how you're going to verify the cash that's going to be used?
In the campaign, I sent out a copy of my registration, a copy of my company of incorporation in the campaign, I sent it out, and my business is actually legit. And because of my business is legit, I have access towards certain resources that I can use.
So is it that you're going to commit some of the profits? That's basically what you're saying? Some of the profits from your proceeds will go towards the shuttle system.
Well, it will help to do that, yes.
And Mr. Richard, what if all these profits, they fail? What will happen? What's your move? Your next move from there?
Then the shuttle goes down. We're talking about.
What did you say?
What if all your profits, they don't come to all that you want it to be? What if your business fails, sir? What exactly will happen to the shuttle system and all that you promised the students?
Well, as I said, my profits, right? It would go towards it, but I would have access towards getting the cars and well, let me be more specific. I'll be using cars to do this, right? And I would have assets that I can use to transport the students. But my profits would basically go towards like the gas and basically the gas towards filling these cars with gasoline to carry students, right? So in that case,
the drivers?
be contributing towards
The
this.
drivers
This is free to them.
What did you say?
The drivers are a part of the package as well.
Of course, of course.
Absolutely. One last question from me on that before we hear Mr. Minto's rebuttal. What about strike? You're going to put the taxi drivers down there on strike before you see them in the early mornings with the cardboard box on.
This
What's
is
going
just
to happen to them? They depend on our students to take off from $100 from down the bottom of the top. Would the students pay as well, the shuttle system? So that's the two questions there. Are the students going to pay? And aren't you going to anticipate strikes that might become violent? Talk to us.
well, students would have to pay, yes, because this would these are expenses, and these expenses are not going to take care of themselves, so just like the same way how students would have paid from in Brownstown come to the school, they would have been doing the same thing with the YC shuttle bus system. The only difference is that we are in more sophisticatedness in doing this.
To me, hear you say assets, I thought you were going to at least subsidize the cost of $50 or $25 from the middle of Brownstone upwards.
And Mr. Richards, do you have anything to say about all these?
Mr. Minto.
Right, Mr. Minto, coming from Mr. Richards. What do you have to say about what Mr. Richards is suggesting here?
Well, you have to question the practicality of that because I believe we have maybe going onwards of 300 students that live in Brownstone. How will one bus do that? Will it be a coastal lane on a mini bus, a car?
Yes, as I
There's a
said,
lot of
sorry.
Let's hear
Tell us.
Mr. Richards' response. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Richards.
Well, Mr. Minto mentioned about practicality of whether me using either bus or what type of transportation vehicle. I mentioned earlier I would be using a car to do this, right? And as I said, it would be positioned in the car. The shuttle bus system would take the route from the bus park and travel to the school. So
I hear
Can
you.
one car do that, then, Mr. Richards? Could one car do that? For an entire morning, one student be late? Will it be cheaper than the taxi? Because I gather that it's what, $50 to come up. Will it be cheaper?
no, it would be the same price. It's just that
Same price.
yes, I'm just allowing students to feel more sophisticated and allow students to be different from the rest of students in the environment of Brownstone, because mixing energies with different students with different students, right, can put bad negative energies into Aria Casa High students, which is what I want to prevent.
I
That's a good
disagree.
point.
I think it's good to socialize and mix and show how.
Well,
how
on the
good
board,
you
thank
want
you
to
so
see
much. Not your time to
It
see
can-
Mr. Minto, but we're coming to you now for a question. You know, what is interesting about the two manifestos is one, I can feel it. It's tangible. I'm feeling money in my hand, and now apparently I'm feeling the seat in front of me. You're talking about your Minto currency or your cryptocurrency. I can't feel that. The only thing I can feel about that, Mr. Minto, is it's a cheap shot at a rebuttal against giving students money. What you do that is tangible, that they can feel. What aspect of your manifesto combats the uniqueness of Ben Richards' manifesto? Talk to us.
Well, the meritocracy, because I believe that is actually practical. Students can actually can turn their merits into cash or even get goods by our
What
canteen.
happened to the students who aren't as meritocratic?
Repeat.
What happened to the students who aren't as meritocratic? The
Well,
truth is,
yeah.
if you look at the merit slip, honor roll students get the biggest share. Is it that your administration is favoring the brighter students? They're already first in line.
No, it means that my administration will have to enforce the SWEBIS program and ensure that students actually get.
But
merit
Sweden
scores.
has been around for the longest time, Mr. Minto. We still have students who aren't as meritocratic. What's the strategy? Because if they're going to be introduced,
Because when they see, I tell you, Mr. Francis,
introduced now. Talk to us.
when they see other students using this program, this system, they will be encouraged to do so. So we'll have more students doing good things, being good students, and I will ensure that they get their merits, which can be used for currency.
But it doesn't sound very original, though, Mr. Minto, because it has been
No,
around.
it isn't original. I did say that.
Besides that, that is my question to you. It sounds like you're revamping it. Why did it fail in the first place?
Repeat.
Why did it fail in the first place? It has been around. Why did it fail in the first place?
I think administration was just really, they probably weren't serious about it.
The
With my
student administration or the school administration?
Maybe both. Maybe both. I'm not sure. I think it was the school's administration's
Are you
initiative.
bashing the school administration?
Repeat.
Are you bashing the school administration for failing?
No, I'm not bashing it. I'm saying that maybe it should be a council initiative now, where we will actually enforce it and ensure its success.
I just want to feel how different the enforcement is going to be, because the principal came in the auditorium. He mentioned that it was pretty, it was attractive, but then it just lasted for a month or so. I want to know your strategy, the Minto strategy for Minto currency.
Well, I'd have to ask the principal to give me authority to,
It's gonna be the principal's idea or yours, Mr. Minto. Talk to us.
it was the principal's idea at first, but the council will ensure its
Have
success.
you
When we
spoken
move back,
with him already?
no, I haven't, but I'm sure that he will be
So there's a
okay.
possibility this might not even be reindorsed. Is it that you are now promising the students also, Mr. Minto? This is a
Well, the
little
principal, remember, it was the principal's idea. Remember, it was the principal's idea, and it will be mine just to enforce.
And we have a debate upon us. We do. Any rebuttal to that question, Mr. Richards, before we went on the break, we had to go on the break. Any rebuttal to that question? All right, going to take that as a no.
No, of course. No, I have a rebuttal. I have a rebuttal.
Right ahead.
I'm sorry about that. The meritocracy system, I think, would not benefit students, especially in the long term, because they cannot use a meritocracy system and go down to the bank and even get a loan. They can't do that. But I know one thing for sure, they can use financial intelligence and go down to the bank and know how to get a loan. One thing I'm sure about. And
So, right.
yes, the meritocracy system, it will not have a long-term impact on students, because not only they cannot get a loan from the bank with it, they will not be getting any knowledge, any type of development from the meritocracy system, in my opinion, to be able to do good things outside of school. And when I say good things, I mean understand the economy.
Time, thank you so much for that.
You know, Mr. Richards, 12 months might be hard for you to accomplish your goal, but how exactly will your cryptocurrency really, continue for in the long run? After you're gone, what exactly happens if you become president?
Could you repeat that, please?
After you're gone, if you become president, how will your cryptocurrency be kept alive?
Okay, so because of my club that would have left in place, right? My legacy that I'm leaving behind, I would have trained representatives to understand the blockchain technology, to pass it on to generations that will come into the school, right? So they're going to be passing on this knowledge to other generations to come into the school. So that's how my club will keep this cryptocurrency and financial intelligence alive in the school, up and running.
So will the council be a club, Mr. Richards? That is what you're turning the council into.
What did you say?
The council is becoming a club now.
No.
But you just said club.
Right. Your main agenda is to introduce a club. A part of my agenda is to introduce 3 new clubs and to uplift all of the clubs, Mr. Richard.
But will your clubs be able to fully develop other clubs, right? The only thing, what are your clubs going to do to help students?
Well, you have different clubs and societies that I want to. No, repeat your question, Mr. Richard.
How will your club develop other clubs?
The fact that my agenda is aimed towards clubs, it means that all students will be developed, because remember, I believe that clubs, they are a critical part of student development.
So Mr. Minto, you mentioned that you're going to be advocating for clubs that are not getting a lot of resources, right? Do you think that you can help students to do that?
If I can help students
to be able to get resources for their clubs when they're lacking.
Right, yeah, from the administration, because the administration provides the clubs with funds, and I will ensure that they are spread equally so students can be developed through the clubs, Mr. Richard.
Mr. Minto, don't you think a better solution towards helping students to be able to get resources for clubs would be through financial intelligence, so they fund the resources?
It is a good way, Lennon, it is a good way. Is basketball the only sport? Basketball is not the only sport. Not
I
not
didn't
all
say
students. No,
basketball.
you didn't.
I'm mentioning about all clubs in general. Okay, I'm talking about
Right,
all clubs in general.
right. Yeah, because not all students will be interested in financial literacy. Not all students want to do that. Students want to do other things. So when we give them the platform, give them the resources to properly develop themselves, and they come out and they do their thing, and they become better persons. Financial intelligence isn't the only way. That is what I'm trying to say.
All
There are
right,
other avenues and there are other
thank
interests.
you so much. Thank you so much. All right, next question to Mr. Richards. Mr. Richards, so far I have interviewed all presidential candidates, and every single presidential candidate has thrown their support behind Dante Minto, even the ones he has left off his ticket. Absolutely no candidate wants to endorse you, Mr. Richards, but Mr. Minto over there keeping his party with an entire ticket having rallies. If the candidates don't want to join your ticket, Mr. Minto, why should the students? The persons who will possibly make up your administration should you become president doesn't believe in the objectives of your administration. Talk to us about that.
Well, this would come back to the question you brought up about how to be collaborative, right? And I mentioned earlier that coming to terms and understanding the other party, right? I will, as the future president, understand these other candidates vying for other positions to come to terms and hear what they want, right? So we can a fully operative council, So by doing that, I will be able to come to terms and agreements in helping to be collaborative with these other candidates.
Very well. I'm going to touch on a little point of yours, so Mr. Richards. You might not like it. I hear you say you want to be collaborative with candidates. You're going to be collaborative in your negotiation policy. But a leaked audio from your campaign team the other day suggests you can't be collaborative with your own. Viewers, let's listen to this for a second.
Bro, don't let me become assertive on you right now, bro. Don't let me become assertive on you. If you're going to be my group with all of this negativity, bro, you better lift up. You better lift up right now. Right now, bro. And yo, if I send a next message, bro, you just lift up right now. Lift up. Sure.
The vociferousness of the lift up, the whole context, Mr. Richard, gets me nervous. Talk to us. How are you going to be collaborative with your own if you can't take criticism in your own team? Talk to us. Give us the background to that audio and tell us how you respond.
Well, I was being provoked by one of Minto's supporters, to be honest.
Okay. So a Minto supporter is in your camp?
That message did not go directly to any candidate or anyone. I was referring to one of Minto's supporters to just please discard himself from my group, because Minto supporters honestly have been trying to cause some type of demise in my group, but I am trying to deal with it, and that's how I have had to deal with it.
So how you know it's a Minto supporter? Because he's in your camp. I am to suggest everyone in your camp is at least trying to buy into your agenda.
Well, I got from my sources, right? That person was a fully Minto supporter, and him in general, he was causing lots of ruption in the group, right? That's
Are you able to disclose who that person is?
Causing ruption in the group.
Are you able to disclose who that person is?
Well, no, but by the number, right? By the number, I'm able to know that there was a Minto supporter.
Because this isn't reflective of your ability to deal with criticism, because when you should become president, you're still going to have a lot of Minto supporters who thought Dante should have won. Are you going to lift them up out of class, lift them up out of school? Talk to us about that.
No, it's just that we all need to work at just looking at what's most important, right? If I become president and the Minto supporters want to criticize me, I'm going to take it, but I'm just going to ask them what is really important. What is important here? So let us just
Did you ask that supporter though what was important before you lifted them up? I'm just teasing you, Mr. Minto. That's all the time we have for your response.
Mr. Minto, right, Mr. Minto, what exactly makes you the more competent one over Mr. Richards? The viewers want to be reminded.
So that's the
Right.
question of social media.
Right.
Right. What makes me more competent? Because I understand that leadership isn't about pretty plans. You know, a pretty plan, I believe, isn't the real indicator of success. It is the character of the person and what the person actually wants to accomplish. And you know, we are going through changing times, rough times, and we need experienced hands to lead the council right now. And
So,
you know, yes,
would you
go ahead.
say, go ahead, Mr. Minto.
No, man, you go ahead. I was finished.
Okay, would you say you're the more charismatic over your opponent, or are you the more people person?
I'm really a people person, and I get along with a lot of persons. I really do like to lift them up and things like that.
And that response leads me to my next question, Mr. Minto. Over your time here at York Castle High School, you have had a vernacular of this unity, and now you come with a ticket that I still believe divides the school. In sixth form association group, you made it clear that you have original Yorkists and not so original Yorkists. You resigned from the prefecture, and now you're looking at the top position in council. You're a very aroma, Mr. Minto, is one that speaks to this unity. Or are you going to assure the administration that as the chief person for the Students' Council, will be a united force between all the different groups within the school that sometimes struggle head to head? Talk to us.
Well, you know, as I disagree with you there. I believe that I'm a leader that a good leader unites, and I believe that I'm a leader that unites persons. As I said in the last debate, that quote in the sixth form group was misunderstood by some, and I did apologize. If I was that leader that you referred to, I wouldn't have apologized. I wouldn't have cared. And I work with many Yorkists that are from other schools, so I disagree.
All right, that's your time, Mr. Minto, but you still haven't responded to my question as to how are you going to be united the different bodies within the school, SFA, prefecture, and students' council that sometimes, for whatever reason, have a sense of competition. Do you believe that there's a sense of competition?
Well, no, not from what I've seen. I believe that they understand that the council.
So no need to unite them then.
There's need to keep the unity. I think right now they are united and we work together. But we just
So
have
you
to keep
believe in the union.
Repeat?
So you believe in a union?
A union?
Yeah, with
Yeah, I believe that there should, yeah, man, I believe that.
Are you anti-union or are you pro-union?
I'm pro-union. I'm pro-union.
So you think you should be the leader of that union?
I should delete. No, I believe that we should have. No, actually, yes, I believe that the council should be the leader of that union.
It's a sticky point, but that's all the time you have to respond. Mr. Richards, would you comment anything about what Mr. Minto would have just said?
about forming a union.
Right.
Well, I don't disagree with Mr. Minto.
You're pro-union or anti-union?
Oh, I'm pro-union.
And who you think should be leading that union?
Well, I should be leading that union because I have the characteristics that can help students.
Well, unfortunately, neither of you read up to know that the chairman of the board of directors for student leaders is already the leader of that union. But I want to go back over to you now, Mr. Minto. I want to ask you, why did you resign from the prefecture?
I think that was from back in grade 10. The truth is, I don't remember. I think that there was some misunderstanding, and I decided that it is best for me to leave the body.
Yeah, why I ask is because it concerns me when misunderstandings become great if you're going to resign from the council as well.
No, absolutely not. I've been a part of the council for 2 years and I've enjoyed it, and that is why I'm running for president.
You see, that brings us back to the validity of many of these manifesto items. You see, Mr. Lin, his assurance of staying in the students' council is kind of shaky. In the same way, Mr. Richards' assurance that his plan will work, his club is indispensable, is kind of shaky as well. So I want to hear from you. What assurance, what commitment can we give you that you're in this for the long run, Mr. Minto? And brace for your question, Mr. Richards. What is plan B? Go ahead, Mr. Minto.
Because I actually have goals to accomplish, I have things to achieve. I want to see some clubs at different levels, and I won't stop until I achieve that. And I want to see our advocacy. Not that it's bad now, but I'd like to bring advocacy to a higher level, and I'd love for Yorkcastle to become more of a school power sort of, if that's the term, across the nation. So I have goals and I want to accomplish.
Now that's all the time we have for you, Mr. Minto. Right. Mr. Richards, you know, your financial literacy policy is quite impressive, but the students would like to know, what is the plan B? Is your cryptocurrency infallible? What is the plan B? What if anything happens? My question got your tongue, Mr. Richards.
My tablet just tripped out. Could you repeat the question, please?
You know, Mr. Richards, your positive financial literacy is quite impressive, but are you suggesting that this cryptocurrency is infallible? What is the plan B?
My plan B about using cryptocurrency?
Right.
You know, my plan B is that I do have a plan B because I'm sure that my plan A will work for sure. I'm sure about
Mr. Richards, I'm gonna have to contact the Chinese man to find out what. That sounds a lot like the lottery to me, Mr. Richards. Like I'm gonna have to contact the Chinese man and find out what's going to be cash for that drive time. You're confident that the plan is going to go through and you have started your plan A. It says a lot about the president if you don't even have a backup plan. How are you so confident that the students are going to actively buy into your financial intelligence plan? And if they don't, what's the plan B?
what I am doing, I'm talking about, right? What I say I am going to bring into the school, I am doing. So because I am doing it, I am able to be assured about my plan, know the opportunity.
How many grade 11 students do you have registered on your program?
What did you say?
How many grade 11 students approximately do you have registered on your program?
My program, which program are you talking about?
The financial intelligence program. You said you're actually doing it, so I'm just asking how many grade 11s are involved.
When I say, all right, when I say I'm doing it, I mean me being financially intelligent, right? I am doing stuff that I would be teaching, right? To be specific, I'm doing stuff that I would be teaching towards students. So that's why.
How many grade 10s are on the program then?
Huh?
How many grade 10s are on the program then?
Well, I haven't created the club as yet.
I didn't catch that. Could you repeat?
I did not create the club as yet.
Okay, but the question is, you're doing it for yourself, but you're not doing it at your castle, so you can't really feel if it is working or if it would work at your castle high school.
Interestingly, Mr. Richards, how exactly, persons, are you sure persons are going to buy into your.
Yeah, that is the question. How are you sure a person is already going to buy into the plan? We have grade sevens who their only concern is to run to the lunch line first. How are they going to buy into grade sevens? Or are they going to buy into the financial intelligence plan? Or is it that your plan doesn't cater for grade sevens tonight?
Well, I want students to understand that this financial intelligence plan, right? It helps them not only in school, but outside of school, right? It helps them outside of school. Students who would not have known how to finance, who would not know how to be able to buy something, they would have the knowledge on how to buy it, right? Students would have been developed so much in and outside of school, you wouldn't have believed it, Bob, Mr. Moderator.
I really love that. That sounds good. But what's interesting about what you said, though, is that you want students to understand. Now, that sounds like more practical than you know students are going to understand. And it brings us back to the question, pressing you on, Mr. Richards. What if they don't understand? Right. What is the plan?
Oh, okay. Well, you see, because all right, these plans that I'm putting into place, they are able to grasp it with ease, right? It is
They're
not
able to?
or no type of any type of advanced mathematics you're going to be learning. These are simple things put together to allow students to understand and be able to execute, most importantly, execute, right? And because I'm going to be there guiding students, right, they're going to be able to understand it. Because once they...
But that still sounds like a primary investment in plan A. We're asking you, what is plan B? We have asked Mr. Minto about pump and meritocurrency and advocacy. You have advocacy and financial intelligence. We're asking the financial intelligence field, what is the plan B? Is there any plan B?
Or is it infallible?
It is not infallible. I'm telling you guys. There are going to be no mistakes. There are going to be no type of downfall or anything, because I am sure, I am 100% sure, because students, even students in grade 13, some students in grade 12, right? They understand what I will be doing and bringing towards the school, right? And I know students in grade 9 where I would have talked to them about these type of plans already, and they caught on to it pretty easy. So with that now, with me seeing students understanding, with just me explaining a little bit towards them, you know, I am definitely sure about my plan A, it will work. So that's why I say I don't need a plan B, because once a man is sure about plan A, why does he need a plan B?
Well, what I can tell you is every man needs a plan B. Thank you so much, Mr. Richards, for that very well explained point. Mr. Minto, you talk about pump extracurricular. That's not Dante. You talk about meritocurrency, Minto currency. It's really Raymond Treasure currency. And you talk about advocacy, the students' council legacy. It sounds to me a lot like you're building a house and you're living in admin's skin. What do you have to say about that? What is the Minto scheme? What is you to Dante P. Minto? Financial intelligence, block technology is so unique to your opponent, Leonard Richards, that he doesn't need a plan B. You have ABC, but it is admin's ABC. What is your plan? What is unique to talk to us?
Well, as a candidate, I believe that we should keep your castle great. And unlike Lennon, I don't have specific plans. I just believe that we should do one thing and we should aim for that, and we have different paths to that. So I believe that the real part of presidency isn't, as I said, isn't about having a pretty plan, but it is about preparing for the storms that will come and navigating them and understanding that we must ensure that York Castle remains a dominant force within the nation.
Grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9 students don't appreciate that diplomatic and political talk. What is a simplified gesture designed for them? That's my question to you.
Because we will advertise clubs and uplift them, you know, put them at a different level than they are at now. Those students, lower school students, which are interestingly always interested in them, they will find these clubs from a young age and they will find their passion, like I did for many of the clubs I'm in now. And, you know, they will be able to fulfill their passion and become their best self.
Okay, well, the record would have it. Any rebuttal, Mr. Richards?
No rebuttal.
Kenny Barnett wants to join your campaign ticket. Mr. Minto Therese says your campaign ticket is a disgrace for lower school, declining lower school as it is. How do you respond to Kenny Barnett?
Well, Kenny, I understand your desire, but I believe that I have the best candidate from the races that I've selected, and I'm confident in them, and I will continue to push those other persons with myself.
What if Kenny win?
Well, I'll be open to work with her because I believe that she is a good candidate, not the best, but I think she's a good candidate, and I could work with her.
Mr. Richards, what is a good quality your opponent has that you admire?
Well, knowing Mr. Minto for quite a few years, right? I love how Mr. Minto was able to just develop, you know. I just love it. I really admire it, you know. That wasn't. What did you say?
What do you mean by develop?
You know, like from us growing, you know, like I know, like when I say develop, I don't mean like he's coming from a bad stage or from a bad part, right? Just meaning that, you know, knowing Dante as like kind of quiet sometimes, you know, to be this outspoken young man now who's running for president, two of us, you know, I just see that as kind of good, not kind of good, but awesome, you know, and I really admire that with Dante.
All right, that is your time. Thank you so much, Mr. Richards. Mr. Minto, what's a good quality your opponent has that you admire?
Well, I love how Lennon is enthusiastic about anything he does. That has always been the case. I remember him doing basketball. He loved it. He practiced every day, and what he's trying to push now, financial literacy. I love how enthusiastic he is about it.
Mr. Richards, back to you. You know, the student populace want to know exactly, coming from social media, what do you plan to do to help students who are stressed out about online school?
You know, the system. Of course, I do. To have a plan to improve on the apps that we use as classrooms, right? That was one of my online plans. I was planning on creating a new school app that allows students to access classes, allows students to access notes. You know, it allows students to basically have school and an app. So regular schooling, you know, that will be happening on.
So, Mr. Richards, are you saying there is something wrong with or Google Classroom and, you know, Google Meet? Is there something wrong with it?
I'm just bringing this type of innovation to York Castle to allow York Castle to be different from other schools when it comes on to Zoom and Google Class. I want to have an app designated for York Castle High specifically for students to access their classes. So we're going to be behaving differently with apps and having apps to be able to have school.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richards. Mr. Minto, you are a harsh criticizer of the Lennon Richards campaign that is going to make a club to exploit the students and reap the profits. But you were a council secretary, and you're now, if you become a council president and you created the YC Journalism Club, is it that you have intention to control the media, exploit the media to the government's benefit?
No, I believe that the club is at a state or will soon be at a state where I could step down from leadership and someone else will be in charge of the
Are you committing that to become president, you will be stepping down from the leadership of the YC Journalism Club?
for not entirely. I will have to do it in a way where
You don't think there's a conflict of interest for even if they wanted the office of the president to be the lead of the only media house at Dorcas High School?
no, because I won't be in charge of I won't be leading the sector of the media group that
Thank you. That's all the time we have for that question. But what would be your management position then? What would be your position in the club? I'm sure you would remain as an observer.
other things. I'll have to do other things in the club, like the other programs lead our journalists to write on other things. But when it comes on to council, I won't be involved in the clubs doing this.
YC Students' Council has expanded beyond the parameters that we thought would have defined it. What's your position on a council opposition, like how there's a council government? Humanities student John Trent recently called for a council opposition amid rising fury in the YCHS guidance. Talk to us about that.
I think it's a thought. I've never really thought about that. It's a thought. I've never really thought about it, but I think it would be good for democracy to have opposition, to have those students who don't believe in one administration to have an opposition and be represented.
Okay, any rebuttal, Mr. Richards?
Well, no rebuttal there because I think that having democracy, will give students the freedom to speak. Oh no.
Fair enough. Mr. Minto, what do you think about Mr. Richards' lip up SIAC? Lip up SAG?
I do sympathize with the candidate. I think it's an sad situation. It was after the night of the debate, and I understand he would have been somewhat upset. I don't know, because I understand when the opponents, supporters chastise it, but I won't give Lennon the right to respond in the way he did. But I do understand where it's coming from, but not like that, wrongly expressed.
Well, that's very interesting, Mr. Minto, because what we have recognized in a screenshot shared with us is that although Lennon Richards asked students to be lifted up out of his campaign group, as an administrator of the YC Journalism Group, you went out and lifted up somebody on your own. Of course, about that, you removed a member from your journalism club.
Yeah, I believe that at the time the student was being rude and the student was acting in a way which wouldn't benefit the club and what we're trying to aim for.
But you don't think you would be mounted the same criticism as Mr. Lennon with his lip up, since you actually live up?
But the truth is that person wasn't an active member of the club. They weren't doing anything, so it wasn't really necessary for them to be there. Anyways.
The reason I ask is because I want to buy into your leadership style. There's a lot of leadership style, and I'm getting from both of you that you're going to be autocratic and dictator-like in a democracy unit. What assurance will you give us, moderators of democracy, as we?
Well, as a leader, I plan to listen to everyone and actually evaluate their ideas, their thoughts, and have them expressed even at the executive level before we take it to the board. So everybody's idea will be listened to.
Any rebuttal, Mr. Richards? What you have been is faithful. What you have been is well behaved. Thank you for watching the presidential series. Thank you for watching the interviews. And we're going to do something special for this debate. You would have recognized that the question one another and then closing remarks. We have decided to bring that to you live. So right after the first and second segment of the debate's premiere, we're going to have the candidates question one another live with you, and then we're going to get questions remarks as the hours are counted down to Election Day 2021. This is Dante Minter versus Lennon Richards. Stay tuned.